Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Michelle, and I'll be leading you through a beginner-friendly Vinyasa yoga practice. I'd like to first acknowledge that I am on the traditional and unceded territories of the Songhees and the Wasanic First Nations, who have been here since time immemorials and have stewarded this land and taken care of it, and I just feel very grateful to be here today to share yoga with you and to be on the land here. And so today we'll be doing a Vinyasa style practice. And essentially, what Vinyasa means is movement with breath. And so there'll be a lot of focus on the breath and the movements involved in it as well. So to start, you can find a tall seat. I'm sitting on a bolster here so that my hips are higher than my knees. If you're at home and you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow, some rolled up blankets, rolled up towels, whatever you have around. And I also have my block with me, so if you have a block, it's really handy to have. And again, you can use a book or anything that's about this shape. It does not have to be a yoga block. And you can sit on the block as well. And so just dropping into this moment, get comfortable. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes or stare at a spot. Bring some heaviness to your eyelids. And just begin to deepen the breath. Check in with yourself, how you're doing today, how you feel in your body. Check in with yourself, how you're feeling today mentally. And just honor whatever that is for this practice. And honor what you need today. So maybe you need to take a little bit of a break. You need to listen to your body, and might be a slower practice for you. Or maybe you need to bring the heat, maybe you need to bring the fire, and you need to work a little harder during this practice. So whatever your body is telling you, check in with that and listen to that. I'll be offering a lot of options throughout the practice, so you'll be able to take what you need for today. So just sitting with that, you can set an intention for your class today. And that intention can be anything, whatever resonates with you. So we're going to find our way into child's pose. You can move whatever blocks or props you have aside. And you have a couple options for child's pose. Your knees can find their way to the sides of your mat, and you can fold in between your thighs with your hands forward. Or if it might feel better today, you can close your legs, sending your hips back, sitting on your heels, and leaning forward. You don't have to keep your butt on your heels, but just working towards that. So whatever's comfortable for you today. And just breathe here. You may notice as you sit in this posture longer, it starts to change for you. You might find some space that you didn't have at the beginning. And just really breathing into that space and allowing your body to take up that space and to change. We'll do 2 more rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, charge up your arms so that they're engaged. Your hands are still touching the mat. And on an inhale, you're going to walk your hands off the mat to the right. So you feel a nice stretch in the left side of your body. And try and work your left hip down so that it's working its way the opposite direction from your hands. Exhale all your air. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, walk your hands off to the left side of the mat. On your next exhale, make your way back to center. And press into your hands and lift your hips up and find your way into a tabletop position. So your wrists are below your shoulders and your knees are below your hips. On an inhale, tilt your tailbone back and look forward for cow pose. And exhale, tilt your tailbone the other way around your spine for angry cat. Exhale, tilt the other way. Just ringing out the spine, bringing in some movement. Exhale, angry cat. And I'll let you do 2 more rounds of that at your own speed. On your next exhale, find a neutral spine. Flip your toes over so they're gripping the ground. And then really press into the inner part of your hand. So your index finger and thumb have a lot of weight. So you're not pressing into your outer wrists, but more on your inner wrists. And on an exhale, press your hips back and up for your first downward facing dog. In this first dog pose, do what you need. You can pedal out your feet, bringing some movement. If you want to stay still, then be still. Find your way into stillness. And continue pressing into that inner part of your hand, and then charge up your arms so that your armpits almost tilt around and face each other to the midline of your body. And try for a long line in your back. So if you have to bend your knees for this to happen, that's okay, that's all good. You can bring a bend into your knees. Inhale, look up at your hands, and exhale, step to the top of your mat. Exhale, fold over top of your legs. So this first one, you might have bent legs. They might be working a little bit straighter, whatever feels good. Just let your head hang. You can nod yes or no. And then you'll slowly make our way to standing. So rolling up one vertebra at a time. You can let your arms hang. And then chest and head come up last. We'll take a moment here in mountain pose. And so check in with your feet, maybe rock back and forth, side to side, find that comfortable spot where you feel really grounded and strong. And then working your way up through your body, can you engage your quads? And so your kneecaps come up, your quads are engaged. A level pelvis. A really broad chest, you can roll your shoulders back. And this is a really strong pose. You're a mountain right now, so try and invoke the qualities of a mountain. Inhale, reach your arms up. Clasp your hands. Take another inhale. And exhale, bend to the right side. So your hips are working their way off to the left. And try not to collapse in your right side. So there's a lot of lift and strength in that side as well. Inhale brings you up. Exhale brings you a little deeper into the fold. Inhale, come back up to neutral. Take an exhale here. Inhale. And exhale over to the left side. Awesome work. Can you get a little bit deeper in this last breath? Inhale, straighten back up to neutral. Find your way to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, so your back is flat. Your hands can come to your shins, even higher if you need to, wherever your back is flat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to high plank. Shoulders under wrists. You can lower your knees. And exhale all the way down to the mat, and so that your shoulders graze the sides of your body. Press into the tops of your feet. Little to no weight in your hands. You can roll your shoulders back for baby cobra. Flip your toes. Exhale, push back through tabletop child's pose. And finally to downward facing dog. Inhale, look up at your hands. Exhale, step to the top of your mat in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet, reach all the way back up. Look up at your hands. And exhale, arms at your sides. Awesome. We're going to do that one more time, our modified flow. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, drop your knees all the way down to the mat. Press into the tops of your feet. Inhale for baby cobra. And exhale through tabletop and child's pose for downward facing dog. Inhale, look up at your hands. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, arms come through center and down to your sides. Now that was the modified flow. If that felt great in your body, then keep doing that. We're going to work to another flow, and this is always an option for you, or you can always go back to the modified flow, whatever works for you. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high plank. Take an inhale here. And this time, exhale halfway. Inhale for upward facing dog. Thighs are lifted above the mat. And roll over your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. And so both of those flow options are there for you throughout this practice. You can interchange between them, stick with one, up to you. Inhale, look up at your hands. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, arms at your sides. This time, inhale, sweep your hands and sit low into a chair pose. Arms come up. They can either be at shoulder width or hands together, whatever works with your shoulders. Can you sit a little bit lower into your chair for this last breath? Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, halfway or all the way. Inhale for baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg back and up. Exhale, step it between your hands. Back foot comes to 45 degrees. And your heels are approximately in line with each other, so check out that. Your knee is above your ankle at about 90 degrees. Really set up your base, press into your feet, get a really strong base. And on the inhale, bring your body up for warrior one. And check in with your hips in this pose for this first one. And manually move your right hip backwards in space so that your left hip is coming forward and it's level. Once you feel really stable in your legs and your hips, inhale, bring your arms up for warrior one. Awesome work. Exhale, plant your hands. And you can skip the flow, go right to downward facing dog, or exhale halfway or all the way. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Flip your toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step it between your hands. Same position with the feet on this side. So your back leg can come in a bit, 45 degrees. Knee is above the ankle. Really make sure that back leg is straight and strong. And as you come up, can you keep the integrity of your legs? Your knee in the front is tracking towards the pinky toe edge. So if it's coming in, try and bring it out towards your pinky. And inhale, reach your arms up. And can you knit your core in so it's not coming out, but it's straight and strong? Hips draw together. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank, skip the flow, or go halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Option here to stay in downward facing dog or take a bit of a rest in child's pose. You have 3 cycles of breath here. Exhale, flip your toes, hips back for downward facing dog. Inhale, look up at your hands, and exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press into your feet, reach up, look up. And exhale, arms down at your sides. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands, step back. Exhale, halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, step it between your hands. Maintain your long distance between your legs here for runner's lunge. So stay on the ball of your back foot. Option to bring your back leg down. Inhale brings your torso up. And again, check in with your hips here. So you want your left hip tracking forward, your right hip tracking backward. Your back leg is straight and charged, so if there's a little bit of a bend in it, try and straighten it out. Inhale, lift your arms up. Inhale, gain length, grow tall. And exhale, fold to your right side. So you have a left side body stretch going on right now. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, bring your hands down and your left leg down as well. So a couple options here. You can stay in this pose, working on stretching out your hips. Or if you want to bring a stretch into your quad, that back leg can come up and it can come into your body any amount. And see as you sit in this pose if you can go deeper in any way, if you can let go of anything you're holding on to, that might make it easier for you. Full inhale. Exhale all your air. Release the foot if you're holding on to it. And you might have to shimmy your back knee back. You're going to go into half splits. So bring your weight into your left leg. And then you can bring your right leg forward any amount. Really ensure that it's flexed so that your toes are still pointing up. There's still action in your legs. And if you want a block here, if you have 2 blocks, it's great. You can bring your chest up that way. If you want to put a block underneath your leg, that's also an option. Exhale, bring your front foot back in. I'm going to place your foot down at 90 degrees again. And this time angle your back foot so it's at 45 degrees. And push into your feet and inhale up for warrior one. Clasp your hands around your back. Not around your back, but clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale, grow length, get lifted. And exhale, fold towards the left corner of your mat for humble warrior. Try and even out your shoulders so they're about at the same height. And work your right shoulder to the left side of your right leg. Inhale. Exhale, push into your legs. Come back to warrior two. And exhale, place your hands, frame your front foot. Step back for high plank. And meet us in downward dog or flow it out halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg up. Exhale, step it between your hands for runner's lunge on the other side. Again, option to lower your back leg down. Check in with the stance of your feet. Charge up that back leg. And on an inhale, bring your torso up. arms follow. And inhale, grow length, get lifted in your spine. And exhale to the left, bringing a side stretch into your right side. Inhale, come back up to neutral. And exhale, plant your hands and lower that back leg down. Again, optional quad stretch on this side. If you did it on the other side, try to do it on this side as well. And on the inhale, can you find space that you can use on the exhale to maybe deepen that stretch a little bit in your quad? Or if you're not doing the quad stretch, can you find a way to deepen it into your hips? Spine is really long. Inhale, exhale, find your way back into your lunge with your hands down. You might have to walk your back knee back a bit. Exhale, bring weight into that back knee. And find your way to half splits on the other side. Make sure your left hip is pulling back, right hip forward. And can you find the sweetness in this pose? Maybe you notice that your eyebrows a little bit furrowed, you're clenching your teeth. Try and relax your face, relax your jaw. And just sit with whatever is coming up for you. Exhale, come back to 90 degrees with your front leg. Fire up that back leg and bring it into 45 degrees for warrior one on the other side. Set yourself up on the base and inhale. Torso comes up, arms lift up. This time, can you find an opposite grip? So the one that feels a little bit wonky, we're going to use that one for humble warrior on this side. So inhale, gain length, get lifted, and exhale, the long spine fold to the right edge of your mat. Can you push your left shoulder into your knee to gain a little bit more space in this position? Exhale, come back up to warrior one. Bring your hands to your hips. Pivot on your back foot. And on an exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. Inhale. Exhale, halfway or all the way. Inhale, halfway lift, or baby cobra or upward facing dog. Flip your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, step it between your hands. This time, flip your back foot to 90 degrees. Front leg is at 90 degrees as well at the knee. And exhale, windmill your arms up. Arms come shoulder height and out wide for warrior two. Again, that knee in the front tracks towards the pinky toe edge of your foot. Back leg is straight and strong. There's almost a wrapping sensation to your left glute as it wraps under and around, bringing engagement to your glutes and a level pelvis as well. Inhale, straighten that front leg. And if you have a tendency to hyperextend, just bring a little bit of bend into that front leg. And this is a great position to use a block. And so I'm going to place my block to the left side of my front foot. Arms to shoulder height. And hinge at the hips so you kick back that back hip. And then tilt your body until your hand finds its way to your shin, to a block, maybe to the floor. Left arm is straight and strong, pointing upwards towards the ceiling. And can you find strength to not collapse into your right side, but really engage that core, press into your legs so you gain length and stretch, and look all the way up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and exhale, bend into that front leg and bring your body back up for warrior two. A couple breaths here. Bring your hands to your hips. Once again, straighten that front leg and pivot on your heel so that you're facing the long edge of your mat in a wide leg stance. With your hands on your hips, inhale, bring length, lift into your spine. And exhale, fold over, hinge at the hips for open forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. Now, if the closed stance is a little hard for you, you can make your stance wider so that you find a little bit more room. And for this first option, hands can come below the shoulders, or if you want more of a stretch, you're not feeling it, you can slowly walk your hands behind you so that your fingertips are in line with your toes, and your arms can start making a little bit of shelf behind you. So your elbows are facing in the opposite direction as your fingers. Inhale, walk your hands back below your shoulders. You can add a little bend into your knees and bring your hands to your hips halfway and come back all the way. Little funky transition here. You're just going to flip your left toes to the short edge of the back of your mat and bend into your left leg for warrior two on the other side. And so with your really strong legs and your strong feet pushing through the pinky toe edge of your back foot, can you find a little bit of levity and length in your spine? So you have a really strong base. Can you find that lightness in your spine and that almost bouncy quality? Exhale all your air. And inhale, straighten your left leg. Hands come to your hips. Tilt your back hip back so your butt's facing the other way. Bring your arms to shoulder height and lean, lean, lean until you find that natural stopping point where you want to start curving. Keep that spine really long. And then find your way into triangle on the other side. So your hand can be on a block. It can be pressing into your thigh. But whatever it is, you still have a lot of strength in your core, holding you up, stopping you from collapsing. And if you have room in your neck, you can look up towards your hands. Inhale, come back up and bend into that front leg for warrior two. I promise we're only here for a couple of breaths. You guys are doing awesome. Exhale, straighten that leg. Pivot your foot again so you're facing the long edge of your mat. We've been here before. We're going to do it again. Inhale, grow length, get tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips. And this time, you can use that same option that we did before, or your hands can find peace fingers on your toes. Or if you liked that humble warrior pose with your shoulders, you can bring a little bit more openness into your shoulders as well in this pose. Clasp your hands and allow them to fall behind you. And you'll find as you give space and room in your shoulders to move, that they will naturally move downwards. Inhale to meet us back with hands underneath the shoulders. Bring your hands to your hips, slight bend into your knees. Come all the way up. Tilt your left or your right leg around, pivot on your back leg, and step to the top of your mat. And now find your balance on your left leg so you can kind of bounce around, find that sweet spot. And a couple options here for a tree pose. So first option, your right foot finds its way towards your ankle and you work on balancing that way. Hip works towards the right. Or you can find a little bit more height, right foot onto shin, or right foot all the way onto your thigh. Just skip your knee joint so you're not pressing directly into your knee joint. And wherever you are, can you level out your hips? And your foot strongly presses into your thigh strongly presses into your foot. And find wherever you like with your hands. Hands can come to prayer at your chest. You can reach all the way up. Full inhale. Exhale, knee to 90 degrees and back down. Prepare for the other side. Weight comes into your right leg. Left leg tilts towards the left. And find that sweet spot for you for your tree pose on the other side. And to aid in your balance, try and just stare at one spot, one non-moving spot. So you're probably in your home, you might have an animal, cat, maybe a child. Don't look at them. They're probably moving. Just look at something that doesn't move. Inhale, exhale all your air. Bring that foot back to 90 degrees and place it back down. Find your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. And this time, you'll slowly lower all the way to the mat so you're on your stomach. Bring your head to the ground. Really press the tops of your feet into the ground. Press your pelvis into the ground. And on an inhale, lift up your head, your shoulders, staring at about a foot in front of you. And if you find it in your body, if you find the strength, lift your legs up, maybe your arms as well for locust pose. And really use the breath here to deepen in the pose. Maybe you can lift your legs a little bit higher. For 3, 2, 1. Exhale, right cheek to the mat. Take a rest here. Bring your head back to center, preparing for one more round of locust pose. Exhale all your air. Inhale. Lift your head, chest, feet, and arms. If you want to clasp your hand behind your back, that's an option for you. Press your pelvis into the ground and gain length. Feet can be apart or toes working together as a little harder option. Three, 2, 1. Exhale, nice work. Left cheek to the mat. Bring your hands and place them on the ground by your shoulders and just press back and up. And we're going to find our way onto our backs. Whatever method you want to use for that, you're welcome to do it. Bring your feet in so you can almost brush the backs of your feet with your hands. Feet are about hip width distance apart, so that's about 2 fists. And find a good place for your feet so you feel strong. And take your arms up so they're like little robot arms. So the backs of your arms are pressing into the ground. Exhale. And on an inhale, press into your feet so your hips rise. Your hands can come down and clasp underneath you. And where can you find a bit more movement and a bit more space in this pose to add more of a back bend? So press into your feet and try and find that space. If you notice that your thighs are coming apart, try and bring them back together. So you imagine an invisible block where your thighs are and you don't want it to fall on the ground. Full expression of this pose. Keep going, you're doing awesome. And exhale, bring your shoulders out from underneath you and roll down one vertebra at a time. Your feet can come together for butterfly pose. Knees are apart in either direction. And where can you let go in this pose? On an inhale, bring your thighs back up so your feet are planted on the ground. Take your right leg and place your right foot just underneath your left knee so that your left leg, your foot's still planted, and your right leg is about at 90 degrees. Now, if this feels like a good stretch for you, stay here. If you want a little more, you can thread your arms through that gap in your legs around your left leg. You can use your left leg as a bit of a push to deepen that stretch, pushing your right foot into you. Exhale, place your left foot back down, your right foot to match, and we'll set up for a figure 4 on the other side. Left foot bends at 90 degrees to your right leg. And on an inhale, if you want to thread your hands between your legs, do so. Ensure that your left leg is active so you still have a flex in your left foot. exhale, bring your right leg back down, left leg to match. Grab behind your knees and just start to rock a bit on your spine. So rolling out your spine, rocking back and forth until you find your way back up to seated pose. Bring your legs long in front of you. I like to remove the fleshy bits underneath my sit bones so I get really connected to the ground and I can feel it through the base of my spine. We'll start in staff pose. So really bring length into your spine. Have a really straight, long spine, and your hands, if they can, make their way to the ground. And with this same action, we're going to try and keep that straight spine in our forward fold. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. And the minute you find your rounding or you have a really great stretch in the back of your legs, that's awesome. You can stop right there. If your legs need to be bent, that's okay. You don't need to touch your toes. Whatever feels like a stretch in your body is perfect. And can you find at all any movement in this still pose? Any extra room that you might find with your exhales? Couple more rounds of breath here. Soak it up, enjoy it. That deep stretch. Inhale, come back up. And slowly make your way down to your mat, onto your back. Bring your legs up to 90 degrees. You might have to bring your hips off to the left a bit and drop them over to your right for a gentle twist. If there's space between your legs, that's okay. But if you want to put a block between your legs as well, that's another great option. Or if there's another gentle twist that you like to do, I welcome that. Just do whatever feels good. Your head can look off to the left. Bring your head back to center. Inhale, lift your legs back up. Shift your hips off to the right side. And drop your knees over to the left for the twist on the other side. If it feels good, you can look to your right. Inhale, bring your neck back, legs back up. And if there's anything else you feel you need in your body before going into your final resting pose of Shavasana, feel free to do that. If not, really take up space on your mat. Bring your feet as wide as your mat. Your arms can come out. Find a comfortable position. Maybe even want a blanket, an eye pillow. If you have a bolster at home or a cushion, you can put it underneath your legs. I find that feels really nice, especially on the lower back. And just let go of everything you just did. See if you can make yourself just ever so much more comfortable. You can let go of that controlled breath and just breathe however you wish. If you're really comfortable in this position, feel free to stay as long as you like, soaking it all up. If you'd like to close the practice with me in seated position, start bringing some movement into your toes, into your fingers. Maybe take a stretch overhead, stretch your body with your legs, and roll into fetal position on your right side. Try to keep your eyes closed. Press into your hands and come up to a comfortable seat. Your hands can come to your chest and come back to your intention in class that you said at the beginning. And thank yourself for coming today, for giving yourself the time to move and to take time for yourself. Especially these days, it's so important. And I thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.